whole month. The month of Tuba, since there is Epiphany, Eid al-Ghatas, for month of Tuba, so baptism is the running theme during the whole month. Baptism for the remission of sins and to renew our nature. And last week we talked about baptism, go in the water, that is death, and come out of the water, that is life. So for me to live with Him, first I have to die to the world, and I have to die to my desires, the wrong desires, so I can resurrect with Him. I can have life in Him. I can see the light within Him. And last week, to be in particular, we saw an example of poor servants. The crowd among Jesus, the crowd that was around Jesus, were asking Him to give us a sign. And in the book of Matthew, we understand that this crowd was not just the public crowd. No, there was the Pharisees and the scribes. And they were asking Him, give me a sign, show us a sign, prove yourself, show off, do something. That was an example, and Jesus told them, wicked and evil generation. An example of a poor servant who seeks his own glory. Today the church put in front of us example of a wonderful servant like John the Baptist. And what is the principle? What should we do if we want to serve Christ? I must decrease, or He must increase, and I must decrease. He increase and I decrease. This is a great lesson for anyone who recently started serving or has been serving for a very long time. Go back in time and ask yourself, why did I start service? To prove myself? Your purpose is wrong. To help the kids? Good. Some people, they start to help the kids. That's their potential or their purpose behind service. To help the kids see Christ. That's great. But ask yourself always, we always say this to all the servants. And even to the parents, because the parents are also servants for their kids. If you are not available right now, like after your service for that long, if you are not in the picture, what will your kids do? Will they follow the path you help them to walk in? Or they will get confused all of a sudden and they lost their compass. If they get lost and they don't know the right from their left, I'm telling you, you didn't really lead them to Christ. You led them to follow you. Just you, not Christ. I'll tell you a story happened recently. I read it somewhere, I can't remember, but one of the spiritual guides, I think it was a priest, received a call, Abuna, I'm struggling with this sin. The kid is asking him. And Abuna kept explaining to the kid the dangers of the sin that he's doing and how he should get out of this. Like he asked him, try to guide him. But the kid answered and said, I know all this, and I'm not able to get out of the control of the grip of sin. And Abuna was left without words to say. And he said, I think you need to pray. And that is an example of when you try to reflect the focus from the people that you serve, from you as a savior, as a guide, as a compass, to where they should focus their focus. That's what you do exactly when you must decrease and He increase. He told him, I think you need to pray. Stand before God and put all this in your prayer and ask for help. This is an example of how we should decrease and Christ should increase. Another example, not as the same magnitude but similar, when let's take deacons as example since it talks about service anyway. If a teacher is teaching the class and each time the teacher is singing in the microphone and the kids right there next to him, they're singing along, but always the teacher has to be there That teacher doesn't understand. He sees himself a must. He sees himself a cornerstone for the kids to be there. What if you're not there? What if you're not there? What will happen? These kids will not continue. And we see that a lot. But the proper way to serve is to embrace the group, put them, encourage them to sing, and then the teacher takes a step back and he disappears from the picture. And eventually, when he does this, each one of the kids will learn that lesson too. They will teach the next generation and they will take a step back and disappear from the picture, guiding the kids to the one they should focus on. It's not about me. And this lesson is very important. When I serve, it's not about me, it's about Him. In Kiyak, not too long ago, there is an exposition at the end of the Saturday night praises. It's called the Exposition of the Laborers, and it's beautiful. You can get your application and look at it. It's beautiful. It talks about everyone who labor in the church. And this is the understanding of the church of what the service is. It is a field of service. I don't own it. No one owns it. God is the owner of this place. It is His house. I'm here, I'm just a laborer. And my job is to make everyone look at Him, not at me. It's not about me, it's about Him. When John said this, he must increase and I must decrease, John was very, extremely popular in his area. People looked at him in awe and fear. If anyone were to steal glory of God, would be John. If anyone would have great honor that's unparalleled at this point, would be John the Baptist. But he didn't, because he realized who he was. He was not Christ. He was not the one. It was not about him. It was about Christ. He was just, we call him the forerunner, right? We sing this every liturgy. John the Baptist, the forerunner. Yohanna as-Sabiq, al-eh, as-Sabiq. Or the forerunner and Baptist, right? Forerunner means he came to prepare the way in front of God. He knows his purpose. If we know our purpose as servants and as parents, we are here to prepare the road, the path in front of the kids so they can look at the one that matters at the end of the day, at Christ. He is the purpose behind our presence here. I'm not here I don't go to church today to see Abuna Fulan or Al-Usuf Allan. That's not the point. This is not it. I'm here to be one with Christ, to take communion and to hear a word of wisdom from whoever. From whoever. It doesn't matter. It's not about the person talking about the sermon, giving the sermon. It's about the one that matters the most, Christ Himself. Let's take another approach so we can understand the gravity of this situation if things were flipped backward. What if John the Baptist said, it's about me, it's not about Christ. I must increase and Christ must decrease. What will happen here? And unfortunately, this is a common mistake that happens all the time in the service. It's all about the serving person. It's all about the servant. It's not about Christ. What will happen is the kids will only see the servants. That's it. They will not see Christ. They will just see the one man or the one woman. They're not going to be able to see the person in a charge. They're not going to be able to see Christ. They will just see that one man. They see him navigating everything and he has all the answers and he knows all the solutions to all the problems and he is like a great person to go to. But that's one level. If it stops there, that's not a good service. This is a missing big element, which is Christ. That's a level. The level after this, the teacher and the servant and the parents should redirect the focus of their kids to Christ. Like that call, Abuna realized that the kid is not listening anymore, and he realized he doesn't have a solution for this. So he said, you need to stand up and you need to pray right now. Put everything down, stand up and pray. I don't know how to help you. You need God's help. This is when he make the shift. Look at God, don't look at the human. Human will always fall short. Not because they're bad, but because this is our nature. We'll always fall short. The other problem, the second problem is when it's all about me as a servant and it's not about Christ. I will create a generation that is weak, dependent, and full of himself. Because they will just do exactly the same thing I do. It's all about me, so they will grow up saying, it's all about me. But if I tell them it's not about me, they will also say, it's not about me. The kids absorb from the teacher or the servant and the parents everything, what they say and what they do. They absorb everything. If your integrity is compromised, like what you say is different than what you do, then the kids will also do the same thing. They will say exactly like what you say, but they will do exactly like what you do. But if your words and actions align, they will do the same thing. What they say is exactly what they do, and what they do is exactly what they say. I say this and I use this example today because service is a form of death and life, exactly like baptism. You decrease, you disappear, you die, so Christ may appear inside of you or appear out to everyone. We are just a signs that show the kids the way. We are not the way. He is the way. We're just signs to show them. And not just standing sign, we are moving sign because in the process we grow toward him. The difference between teaching and serving, teaching just focus about knowledge. That's it. Like, let's memorize this hymn. Let's memorize this psalm. Let's memorize this chapter of the Bible. This is service. Sorry, this is teaching. Teaching is, uh, it concerns about just memorization and knowledge. But what is service? It doesn't stop there. It teaches and it helps people memorize, but the knowledge doesn't end there. They take that knowledge and put it in application, in action. This is service. That's why I said earlier, when your kids, when Christ told his disciples, go and disciples all the nations, make them disciples. Disciples mean they live with you, like Christ made his own disciples. Live with them, teach them, they will absorb from you your knowledge and your actions. This is service. This is real service. When we focus on him and we understand it's not about me as a servant, it's about Christ. I must, or he must increase and I must decrease. And remember, if the knowledge that you teach the kids is not able to change their behavior, there is something wrong with the knowledge something wrong with the application of the knowledge. Each thing that we teach the kids is with the intention to change their behavior. We don't learn information وخلاص. No, we learn so we can change. This is the purpose behind teaching, behind charisma, behind serving. We learn so we can change. If I learn, if I know all the knowledge there is to know about the church, but my actions doesn't reflect this knowledge, what good is knowledge to me? Just stays as is. You know, if a student in medical school, they teach him CPR and how to do like resuscitation for a person who is choking, مثلا. And he never applies it to any situation. What is this? You know, أنت اتعلمت ليه? Why did you learn then? Put it in action. If it doesn't change your behavior, how you act in situations where you need to apply your knowledge, then something is wrong with us. Something is wrong with the way we apply our knowledge. This is what we need to know. When we learn something, I always ask, what does it mean to me? What does it mean in my life? How can I take this on a personal level and apply it in my life? The example of John the Baptist, he did his job perfect way. When he heard the compliments of people about him being a great prophet, he told them, I'm not the Messiah. It's not me. I'm not the one. He didn't steal God's glory and take credit for it. He said, I'm just someone who comes before Christ. It's not me. I'm not the bridegroom. I'm just a friend of the bridegroom. He is the one. Let's focus always on when we learn something, we try to apply it in our life. And when we attend the liturgy and we pray hymns, we always praise with our lips and with our hearts as much as we can. As much as we can. So our sacrifice in front of the Lord is acceptable. So I can take off the darkness out of my life and start to see light. To him is glory forever and ever. Amen.